What's going on YouTube? Gator coming back at you with a fresh new episode of 413 Outdoors. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to tie the clodhopper grasshopper fly. This is actually a fly that I learned how to tie myself off of a YouTube video many moons ago, before there were so many patterns available online. I think I was in 6th or 7th grade when I started tying this, so I've been fishing this fly for a couple days. That's actually why I'm so confident in saying that this is one of, if not the best grasshopper imitations going right now that I've found, at least. If you have one that you love, drop me a comment or shoot me a message or something. Let me know about it if you think it's better than this, because this one is top notch. Without further ado, let's get into what you're going to need to tie this pattern. So the materials you're going to need to tie this fly include some tan fly foam. Now, don't buy this stuff in a fly shop. It's a huge scam. You can go down to the craft shop, Joann's, Hobby Lobby, or whatever, buy full sheets of it for $1 compared to $1.50 for a little 4x6 inch little strip. Same stuff. Don't waste your money. We're going to be using some tan 70 denier flat wax thread. Now, I want to take this second just to say that I like to tie this in brown as a grasshopper imitation, but of course if you tie it in black it also makes an incredible cricket imitation, so don't be scared of tying it as a black fly. You're going to need yourself some dubbing. We're going to be using this sulfur yellow right here, but of course you can use a lime caddis green type thing or the sulfur yellow. And finally you're going to need yourself a little bit of calf tail. If you don't have calf tail, bucktail will work just as well, but I prefer the texture of the calf tail. And finally you're going to need to get yourself a good, strong, dry fly hook. I personally don't like to use the very light wire hooks for these flies, simply because you're going to be casting them near brush, you're going to get them hung up a lot. And as well, the buoyancy of all the foam really negates the need to use a super thin hook. These flies float forever anyway with a little bit of gink on them. So I'm gonna quit yapping. Let's jump down into the vise view. Okay, so I have my hook all set up in my vise. I think I might have forgot to mention, but this is a size 6 if I did forget to mention that earlier. I'm going to start the fly off the same way we do with 90% of them. Just start my thread, make sure it's good and wrapped on there. This is a crucial step because if you don't have it down nice and tight, everything's going to go to hell in a handbasket in a hurry. I usually make 4 or 5 trips up and down the shank of the hook, just build myself up. Nice little body of thread. Okay. So then you're going to want to take a piece of your foam, approximately 3/16 to 1/4 of an inch wide. You're going to want to cut this little trapezoid angle here on the back. And what this is going to be is this is going to be the butt of the grasshopper. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but that is the general thing that we're going for here. So very key to tie this, very key to cut this rather. Of course you can do this after you tie the fly, I just think it's easier to do it before. I'm going to place that on top of the shank of my hook. Grab her with my thread. Just a couple wraps to start off. I'm going to start working that foam. You'll see as the foam compresses, a lot of your older wraps are going to get really loose and funky. That's why it's so important to make a lot of wraps on this material. So just like that. Now you can see I have it bunched up really well there. I'm just going to take it and follow it up the fly, giving it a little pinch to help it along, until I'm right just behind the eye of the hook. You want to give yourself a little bit of room to play. If you don't, it makes this whole operation a lot harder than it has to be. Then I'm just going to go back and forth, make sure I have a good bite on all of my foam here. because the more it compresses, the looser your wraps get. So you need to make sure you have a lot of wraps on this material. That is one of the downsides of this fly, is you do burn up a decent amount of thread just tying all this foam down. But on the other hand, all this foam, super, super buoyant. Okay, so you can see there what I got going on. I'm going to bring my thread back down the fly. I'm going to then take some of my dubbing, if I can find where I put it. There it is. Put it right behind the camera. I'm just an idiot. Take a good, healthy amount of dubbing. You don't want to be scared. We're not tying mayflies here. This is a hopper. Hoppers are big, fat, and juicy. That's why the fish love them. Start it like so. I'm just going to dub all the way up the fly, like y'all have seen me do, about a dozen times now. I love tying dubbed flies. I think it gives a great buggy effect. So, keeping the same, just moving up, making a nice straight body here. As straight as I can get without putting in too much work. That's the great thing about hoppers. They're not like mayflies where they have to be absolutely perfect. You have a little bit more wiggle room. No pun intended. Run my fingers around it, smooth it out a little bit. Bada bing, bada boom. Not looking too shabby, if I do say so myself. Then, very simply, I'm going to take some of this calf tail, I'm measuring it out, you can't see on the camera because I have it macroed in, just like that there. You want it to go from about where the tie-in of the eye is here, where the front of your thread is, just about to the back of the dubbing, maybe a little bit further. And that's just about right. I'll be able to get that. I'm going to snip it. And you don't want to skimp on the calf tail or bucktail here. It's very, very important you have a good, solid pinch, because it makes the fly so much easier to see in rough water or dingy water, which is typically when I fish hoppers. In, middle of summer, river looks like chocolate milk. Alright, get a good solid bite up here on my calf's tail, because much like bucktail, super slippery material. So now you can already see we have our wing slash parachute. The tricky part of the fly, we're going to take this, fold it over onto itself like that. I'm going to wrap down in the middle. This is the hardest part to get right. And like I said, even after tying this pattern for 10 years or so, I still struggle with this. So if you're struggling with this on the first couple of go-arounds, nothing to be ashamed of. Give it a little bit of a sprucing up. Making sure nothing's caught where it shouldn't be caught. I'm just going to build up a little bit of a collar right behind this head here. Half hitch to hold it. And a whip finish. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. a little trim there. And voila, there you have it. Now, as you can probably tell, this would also make a stellar little stonefly imitation. But if you would like to, of course, you can throw some rubber legs on there. You can change the colors up, like I said before. If you tie them in black, they do make an absolutely killer cricket imitation. But just tied up like this with either a green or a sulfur underbody, tan foam with the white calf's tail, they absolutely hammer these in the summer. Big old juicy grasshopper for you. See if I can get a... Yeah, you can kind of see the underside view. See if I can get a better view for you. So that's a much better look at what it looks like from underneath the fly. So as you can tell, you have this big bulky body. You got a little bit of wing here. You have the big bulbous head. A little bit of a tail. And it's not a perfect imitation, but like I said, I've been fishing this pattern for about 10 years or so, and it still absolutely hammers them. Little crazy legs, rubber legs if you want to add a little bit of effect, but other than that, fish it as a stonefly, fish it as a, you can fish a dropper off of it, fish it as a grasshopper, you can tie them smaller, fish them as a caddis. This is an incredible pattern that I'm so glad I learned how to tie. If I could remember where I learned it, the channel I learned it from, I'd give them a shout out, but I don't think the channels are even up anymore, or the video. I haven't been able to find it. So yeah, there you have it. So I sincerely hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you tie some of these up. Like I said before, if you have a pattern that you think is a better grasshopper imitation, drop me the name of it down below and I'll give it a check out. If I like it and it produces, I'll make a video on that too. So like with all of my fly patterns, you can change just about anything on this fly. If you don't have the calf tail, you can use bucktail, you can use hair off your golden retriever, do whatever you want to do, make it your own. That's the great thing about these fly patterns. That's why I show you guys fly patterns that I know produce. These videos are geared more towards the beginner side of things, so that's why I want to show you guys some simple patterns that can get you catching fish easy. So if you sincerely enjoyed this video and want to go back and watch some of the old catalog of videos, I'll put a button up there which will be a playlist of all of my fly tying videos. If you click that button right there, if you're new to the channel, you can subscribe and help us get to 5,000 subscribers. That would mean so much to me. That would be absolutely incredible. So on that note, without further ado, I'd like to thank y'all for coming by and tying with us. Until next time, my name's Gator, and I'll see you later. Goodbye and God bless.